So, you've already figured it out? Jack said, his voice trembling. I'm sorry I kept it from you. The truth is, I've got a wife and a little girl. I'll take responsibility for our kid, but I can't ditch my family. My wife stuck by me through college, through everything. I can't betray her. Those words hit me like a truck. I never thought a cheesy movie plot would become my reality. One day, I found out my boyfriend of 3 years, Jack, was married with a kid. I'm Sophie, 24, the age when I should have been picking out a wedding dress, walking down the aisle with the man I loved. Instead, I'm a single mom. Jack is 8 years older, and we've been together for 3 years. If I hadn't fallen for mature, steady guys back then, I wouldn't be hurting like this now. I'm just a small-town girl who moved to the big city, Saigon, for school and work. Young and naive, I met Jack during my internship. He was the head of the department, handsome, kind, and charming. He stole my heart fast. He's from Hanoi, but moved south for his career. Two lonely souls far from home, we clicked instantly. That connection led to mistakes I'd regret later. While we dated, he treated me like a princess, spoiling me, caring for me. When I caught a cold, he'd buy medicine and cook me porridge. Once when Saigon skies opened up and I forgot an umbrella, he chased me down on his bike, drove me home, and even grabbed my favorite milk tea on the way. When I was swamped with school, he'd text me sweet encouragements, call every morning to wish me a good day, and surprise me with little gifts, a cute scarf, my favorite cake. I dreamed of meeting his family, especially since he wasn't young anymore. But every time I brought it up, he dodged. Wait till you graduate, he'd say, or my family's busy right now. I told myself it was because I was young or his folks were complicated, but deep down, I wondered. Then one day, he got a call saying something urgent came up back home. He bolted to Hanoi on the earliest flight and vanished. No calls, no texts for days. I tried reaching him, but nothing. When he came back, he acted like it was no big deal, showering me with apologies and gifts. I let it slide at first, but it kept happening. Every trip to Hanoi, he'd ghost me, then return with excuses about work or family time. My gut screamed something was off, though his presence and sweet talk dulled the suspicion until they didn't. The truth slipped out one day when he ran downstairs to grab me a milk tea and left his phone behind. It buzzed with a call from Mommy B. My heart pounded. B had to be his kid, and Mommy was probably his wife or girlfriend. Panic hit, but I didn't confront him. Instead, I secretly saved the number and dug around. I found a social media profile with pics of Jack, a woman, and a little girl. It all clicked. He'd rushed home that day because his wife had just had their daughter. The reason he never took me to meet his family? He already had one. I felt like my world shattered. When he got back, I stayed calm, saying, "Take me home. I'm not feeling good." He offered to stay, but I'd brush him off, needing space. Alone that night, I sobbed until my chest hurt. The next morning, I fell off and realized I'd missed my period for weeks. A pregnancy test confirmed it, 2 bright red lines. I shook, torn between calling him and letting him go. He had a family. Did I want to burden him? But part of me selfishly hoped he'd choose me, give me a title, even if it was a long shot. I couldn't hold it in anymore and called him. When he picked up, I blurted everything. He sighed, "I can't marry you right now, Sophie." It was a slap in the face. Furious, I demanded to meet. He showed up looking worn out, but I didn't care. "You're a disgusting liar," I yelled. "You've got a wife and kid. How could you trick me?" Tears streamed down his face as he choked out. "You know everything now? I'm so sorry I hid it. I've got a wife and daughter. I'll support our baby, but I can't leave my family. My wife's been with me since our broke college days. I can't abandon her." I laughed bitterly. "So it's fine to abandon me? My kid deserves better than a father like you." I stormed off, leaving him crying alone. I decided to keep the baby. It's my flesh and blood, after all. Then his sister, Clara, called. "Sophie, I get it, you're hurt. We'll take the baby, but we can't accept you as family. Jack's wife just had a kid. She'd lose it if she knew." I snapped. "You and your brother are the same, making messes and dodging them. I don't need your help." She turned nasty. "You're just a country girl chasing Jack for his status. We don't have room for someone rude like you." She hung up, and I broke down, lost and humiliated. In the end, I chose to raise my child alone. Jack moved back to Hanoi with his family, and I stayed behind. Life's gotten easier for me and my kid, but the pain lingers like a scar. No one gets how broken I feel. My heart's been in pieces since that day. Hey everyone, I'm Lily, and I've got a story that's half tears, half laughs. It's wild how it mirrors my life. I've got a best friend, Ethan, who's a guy, but not your typical bro. We met freshman year at college. He aced the entrance exams and became class president. I was the lively one who snagged the secretary spot. We teamed up for class stuff, texting about projects, and soon joined the same study group. At first, I didn't clock that Ethan was gay. Then one day, after a class meeting, we stopped by a flower stall. He screeched to a halt, gushing, "Oh my God, so pretty. Pink, my color. Gotta buy it." Turns out, he's obsessed with flowers, keeps them in his room daily. Later, eating street food, a rat scurried by. I joked about it, but Ethan leaped onto his chair, screaming, "Help! Get away!" Flipping our table in a panic. That's when I knew he's not straight. I never asked outright, didn't want to embarrass him, but it was obvious. And honestly, I loved it. He became my go-to sister, spilling tea about guys. Sophomore year, he coached me through crushes, giving killer tips on flirting. Thanks to him, I nabbed my first boyfriend, Ryan, a senior in our major, in just 3 months. Ryan was cool with me and Ethan being tight since he knew Ethan wasn't into girls. The three of us even hung out sometimes, good vibes all around. But senior year, Ryan cheated, openly cuddling some girl on campus. He thought I was home, but Ethan was there and snapped pics. I dumped Ryan fast. Cheaters aren't worth tears. Still, it stung after over a year together. Ethan dragged me out, drinking to cheer me up, cursing Ryan till we were wasted. Past midnight, too drunk to get home, Ethan slurred, "Let's crash at a motel. It's freezing." I agreed. Too cold to care. Cash was tight, so he suggested, "One room's fine, right?" I trusted him like family, so no biggie. We passed out, but morning hit like a truck, head pounding. I woke up to us half naked, tangled in sheets. I shrieked, "Ethan, what happened?" He groaned. "No clue. Probably got hot and stripped. I didn't do anything." We laughed it off, awkward as hell, hoping to forget that night. Weeks later, post-thesis defense, I felt weird, late period. A test showed 2 bold lines. Pregnant. I confronted Ethan, and he flipped like that rat day. "Lily, for real? I'm a dad. I'm so pumped." Seeing me stressed, he added, "Don't worry, I'll step up." I hadn't told my family yet when Ethan invited me to dinner for our 3.5-year friendship anniversary. Candles, flowers, and him in a sharp suit. He stunned me. "Lily, I like you. Be my girlfriend." I blinked. "Wait, you're not gay?" He laughed. "Nah, I'm just soft-spoken. Grew up with 2 sisters, rubbed off on me. But I'll man up for you, promise." With a baby on the way, I said yes. That was 3 years ago. Our kid's 2 now. At graduation, we brought her on stage. Everyone was floored. They all thought Ethan was gay, but he stepped up big time, spoiling me and our little girl. Last Valentine's, he took us to Sapa. Thought I'd snagged his sister. Turns out he's my husband. Sometimes I wonder if he played me from the start, but nah, he's just that good. Iyay, imma 22. And cheating's everywhere lately, like it's cool now. I thought being honest and loving hard would shield me, but nope. I got a massive horn slapped on my head anyway. My boyfriend, Nick, is 8 years older. We met 2 years ago at a college club event. He was an alum, I was a sophomore buzzing around organizing. Tall, suave, and witty, he had me hooked. Post-event, he got my number from a friend and texted. I was shy at first, thinking it'd fizzle, but we clicked. Morning hellos, late-night snack runs, and soon we were a couple. For 2 years, Nick was perfect, showing up when I needed him, remembering I like iced tea light on ice, walking me off stress. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Then one weekend, he bailed on our usual date, saying he had to work late. No worries. I grabbed my friend Mia for a movie and some barbecue. Chatting over ribs, I bragged about Nick's charm. Mid-sentence, I spotted him across the restaurant. Feeding a woman, their eyes locked all lovey-dovey. The look he used to give me. People nearby cooed, thinking they were the cutest couple. My stomach dropped. I texted him. He stepped outside to reply. Just got home tired. I'll text later. Have fun with Mia. I smirked, firing back. Too tired to eat barbecue with that pretty lady? He froze, scanning the place. Then locked eyes with me, busted. I waved Mia over to their table. Hey, my boyfriend. Resting up with ribs, huh? Why not invite me? Let's merge tables. The woman snapped. Boyfriend? He said he's been single 3 years, that I healed him. Turns out Nick fed her some sob story. I grinned as she grabbed her soda and splashed his white shirt, then doused him with 2 sauces, red, brown, orange streaks everywhere. The restaurant gawked as she cussed him out and stormed off. Soaked and pitiful, Nick begged, Emma, she's just a co-worker. She got the wrong idea. I only love you. Everyone knows you're my girl. I deadpanned, Hollywood's missing a star, Nick. Then I dumped my icy Coke on him, sweet, fizzy revenge. Mia, and I strutted out. He chased me home, sobbing at my door, but my heart was ice cold. Forgive a cheater? Never. I called security to haul him off for disturbing the peace. Clean breakup my way. Hey folks, I'm Ava, and my love life's a mess. I'm juggling 2 amazing guys, Leo and Dylan, because I can't pick. Judge me if you want, but they're both too good to lose. Leo's the romantic type, gentle, thoughtful, writing me poems, whisking me off for sunrise dates. He's the prince every girl dreams of. Dylan's a bad boy, cool, sporty, rocking a gym bod and deep talks. He'll stand in the rain for hours just to see me, even though he hates it. They're my perfect mix, so I chose both. Adulting means not choosing, right? It's a double dose of love and chaos. One rainy day, I set up park dates. Leo at 9 a.m., Dylan at 10. Leo could only stay an hour before a meeting, so I figured I'd switch seamlessly. But his meeting got canceled, and at 9:50, he wasn't budging. I spotted Dylan approaching, panic mode. I yanked Leo into a cafe, texting Dylan, running late, traffic. Chatting with Leo, I eyed the window, praying Dylan wouldn't walk in. He passed by, oblivious, and Leo left soon after. He met Dylan kritische furtet, barely. Last weekend nearly blew it all. I was lunching with Leo at a trendy spot when Dylan strolled in with friends. No escape. He paused, eyeing me. I jumped up, Dylan. What a surprise. Pointing to Leo, I said, this is Leo, my boss. I winked at Leo, then told him, and this is Dylan, my cousin. Another wink. They shook hands, playing along. Guess they get me too well. Dylan left, but Leo probed, boss? Is that guy really your cousin? I babbled. My parents are strict. Nobody's my boyfriend till they meet him. Didn't want Dylan snitching. Leo chuckled, buying it. Later, I called Dylan, who was pissed. After sweet-talking him, I spun. My boss is gay and flirty. I said you're my cousin, so he wouldn't steal you. You're too hot. He laughed, relieved. Now I'm extra careful. Tight schedules, discreet spots. I can't keep this up forever. But while it's fun, I'm riding the wave. Rainy days like today always take me back to her, to Grace, my ex, and the day I screwed up. I'm Tom, and I ended it, thinking I was noble. Now I'm alone, drowning in regret. I'm sorry, Grace. I whispered to myself, wondering, if I hadn't let pride rule me, would she still be here? Could I have held her hand, built the life we planned? Why didn't I fight harder? That day, she was all smiles, planning dinner and a movie, our first real date in ages. She grabbed my hand, clueless about the storm inside me. I'm broke, raised in a rundown house with a hardworking mom, no dad, scraping by since forever. Grace? She's from money, cars, condos, gifts like gold and deeds. She loved me fiercely, covering my bills, but every fancy dinner made me feel small, fumbling with forks while she glowed. I pictured her family sneering at me, whispering I'd never measure up. I couldn't shake it. Our worlds were too far apart. I'd wrestled with it for months. Her meals were gourmet. Mine were rice and eggs. She dreamed of our future house. I dreaded being her charity case. So I did it. I squeezed her hand, looked in her eyes, and said, we're done. She froze, then laughed. What? Hungry? Let's eat. She dodged it, but I pressed. I'm serious. We're over. Her smile faded. Stop joking. she said, eyes trembling. Let's plan a trip. Beach or mountains? Her voice shrank as I stayed silent. She knew I meant it. I turned to leave, but she hugged me from behind, sobbing, "Please don't say that. Tell me what I did. I'll fix it. Don't leave me." Her shoulders shook, but I pried her off and bolted, ignoring her cries. I thought I was freeing her. For a week, I convinced myself it was right. Then a friend called. "Tom, come quick. Grace had an accident." I raced to the hospital, but she was gone, covered in a white sheet, cold and still. A crash in the rain, they said. Tears blurred her view. Her bag held 2 rings, one for me, one for her. She'd planned to fight for us. I'd killed that hope, pushed her to despair. I clutched her hand, wailing her name, but she couldn't hear. Now I wear her ring, a reminder of my failure. I pray she forgives me somewhere out there. But I'll never forgive myself. If I hadn't let go, she'd be alive.